Now, General, the state of the armed forces today, at the time of your tenure as QAS, was a very substandard and unfortunate one, because it was infested by all sorts of intrigues, hatred, and all sorts of clashes at the highest level. Now, having regard to your role, experience, and involvement at the level you were involved during the time of your tenure, what will you recommend as a recipe to regain a standard and professionalized Nigerian Army?
Before making any recommendation, let me correct a wrong impression you have. The Nigerian Army under my tenure was disciplined, hardworking, involved.
General, from your own view.
Let me finish. That is your view. We were involved in training, but we had a few very bad officers who knew how to get to the top and cause confusion. Those are the problems of
General,
the army.
I don't want you to. I have time on me. I don't want you to give us a memo on what you did. We are concerned about the judgment of the people about your tenure. Now, do you have any regret for the role you played? It's like, just hold on. It's like in the history of this country, you are the first chief of army staff who will leave office and then go to prison and stand with charges of murder, conspiracy to murder, and all sorts of heinous crimes.
Yes, we arranged things.
Just hold on, General. So, do you regret your role or circumstances that brought you to this level? Because it's not a noble thing.
I have no regrets. I did my job as a chief of army staff. I turned the Nigerian Army around. Some people are disgruntled. They wrote all sorts of things, and they wrote me, but there is no problem at all. I feel very proud of what I've done in the Nigerian Army.
Okay.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. On today's episode of Oputa Panel, the former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ishaya Bamaiyi, will be taking the witness box to defend himself in the case against General Oladipo Dia. For those who are just tuning in, Lieutenant General Ishaya Rizi Bamaiyi was born on the 21st September 1949 and is a retired Nigerian Army Lieutenant General who served as Chief of Army Staff from 1996 to 1999 during the military regimes of General Sani Abacha and General Abdusalami Abubakar. In order to give this case a backstory, I'm going to read some excerpts from Lieutenant General Ishaya Bamaiyi's book, Vindication of a General, published by Davis Limited in 2014. Again, within the space of 2 years, General Oladipo Dia, second in command to General Sani Abacha, was caught in the center of another coup. It is an issue which Nigerians have extensively debated and commented upon. Unfortunately, the coup plotter, General Dio Dia, cowardly denied that he masterminded it with the support of officers like General Ibrahim Sabo, who wanted to destroy me. General Dia started planning to overthrow General Abacha as early as 1994, when I was at the LGC, Lagos Garrison Command. At that time, it was the responsibility of the service chiefs to receive the commander-in-chief anytime he visited Lagos, which during General Abacha's time was occasional. The commander, Lagos Garrison Command, would receive the Chief of General Staff at the Murtala Mohammed Airport and see him off. I always received General Dia at the airport and escorted him to his private residence at Fadri Road in Ikeja or the Vice President's home at Ikoyi, depending on where he felt like staying. On one such visit at the Ikeja residence, he mentioned how General Abacha had not been doing well. He made the same statement during the next visit, and I asked him what the problem was. General Dia mentioned that the commander-in-chief did not come to the office early and was not listening to him and other senior people in the government. I told him I believed General Abacha would listen to him because of their special relationship. I knew how many times General Abacha had stopped plans to retire him.
Now, General, please, I want you to take a look at page 40 of your response, particularly paragraph 62.
My Lord, I'm sorry. We don't have a copy of this response. My Lord,
talk to him.
We need a copy.
Copy of what?
Of the response. What was read by...
He will give you. Go on with your questions. Give him a copy.
Much obliged.
Sorry, Mr.
Go on.
Kupolati. You mentioned about General Sabo's embarrassing and disgraceful conduct. Could you just expatiate further what you mean by that?
Well, Nigerian Army officers are normally addressed as officers and gentlemen.
Yes.
Now, General Sabo came in here to answer allegations against him by General Dia. Instead of doing that, he left that and started attacking personalities based on disciplinary actions taken against him. Now, I believe strongly that a very junior officer in the Nigerian Army would have known the rules and regulations governing the Nigerian Army. But Sabo came in here and started talking of postings, retirements, and notice these are things that are very clear in the military, and no officer can come in and start talking about them, personalizing issues. Secondly, General Sabo, when late head of state, General Abacha was alive, Sabo went around trying to destroy as many officers as he could through the same general. Unfortunately, when the general died, a question was asked here why General Sabo did not attend the burial. I was so disappointed with the reply that Sabo gave. General Abacha was dead, he was for the living, not the dead. In the military, we accord the last respect for our fallen colleagues. But this was a commander-in-chief, a head of state, and such statement coming from somebody who during the lifetime of this man wanted to show everybody that he was the most loyal officer is a disgraceful act. That's what I mean.
Thank you very much. Please, I also would want you to take a look at page 58, particularly paragraph 95 of your response. In summary, it talked about your trial, yourself, James Nambaba, JB Yakubu, Major Al-Mustafa, and CSP Rabu Lawal. You also talked about the involvement of federal security agencies working alongside the Lagos State Attorney General with respect to that particular trial. Now, you also did talk about the Special Investigation Panel. Please, could you take a look at this document? Is that the report of the Special Investigation Panel which you referred to in your response?
On the next visit, Dia said openly that there was a need to remove General Abacha and that he was being blamed for the failure of the government from various quarters. I asked him which quarters he was talking about, but he did not mention specifics. General Dia went on to tell me I was one of the officers he trusted and he would rely on me to get General Abacha out of office so the country could move forward under his leadership. I told him I would think over it and get back to him. I informed General Abacha, who said he was going to put General Dia on trial. I suggested there would be no evidence for a conviction and General Dia would not be acting alone, so there was a need for patience. I was appointed Chief of Army Staff in April 1996 and General P.N. Aziza was appointed to take over Lagos Garrison Command. It became Aziza's responsibility to receive and see off the Chief of General Staff at the Murtala Mohammed Airport. After returning to Lagos from a tour of 2nd Mechanized Division, General Aziza came to me at the Chief of Army Staff official residence. He looked worried, and I said, "I hope all is well." He later told me how General Dia had told him of the need to overthrow General Abacha, and he believed General Dia was serious about it. I laughed at first, and General Aziza was surprised. He said, "Giwa, why are you laughing at something so serious? You know this is a matter of life and death." I told him it was nothing new. General Aziza asked me what I was going to do about it. I assured him I would do something. I knew General Aziza would want me to act, and it was in my best interest to do so, because if there was an investigation, I would be held responsible for having known about a coup and hiding it. I went to Abacha the following day and told him what General Aziza had told me. General Abacha said he wanted to hear from Aziza directly. I sent for Aziza to meet me in Abuja, and the two of us went to see General Abacha. General Aziza told him exactly what he had told me. From General Abacha's looks, he was not surprised. He directed us to play along with Dia until we knew what he really wanted. I suggested to General Abacha that he should call General Dia for Aziza and me to challenge him and then make him resign or retire. General Abacha disagreed and said we did not know what had been happening. I later found out that MC Ali, as Chief of Army Staff, and some service chiefs were retired because of their alleged plan to remove General Abacha.
Retired, Major Mustafa, Colonel Jibrin B. Yakubu retired, Mohammed Rabul Lawal, CSP. Whilst the following suspects should be used as prosecution witnesses to enable us sustain a conviction, they are as follows: Barnabas Jabila, aka Rogers; Muhammad Abdul, aka Katako; Mr. Sondemai Chibi, ASP; Major Shaibu Ado.
Yes, General, from this recommendation that you have just read, you agree with me that the aim of this special investigation panel was to secure a conviction.
Well, it is very clear. They've said they said so.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, I want you to take a look at this exhibit. Exhibit 40.
Representing General Ishaya Bamaiyi is YC Makiao, a very brilliant lawyer who is also currently the Nigerian Bar Association president. He's currently a senior advocate of Nigeria. And representing General Sabo is Umar Shetien. Bala Naala represents Major Hamza Al-Mustafa, and General Oladipo Dia is represented by a senior advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Kupolati. This session was taped on 18th July 2001. Another interesting character that emerged from the Oputa panel is Brigadier General Ibrahim Sabu, the former Director Military Intelligence. Brigadier General Ibrahim Sabu had a personal score to settle with General Ishaya Bamaiyi. As you will see in subsequent videos, General Sabu's antics at the Oputa panel earned him a notoriety of legendary status. So look out for more of his videos. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, drop us a comment, let us know what you think about these characters. According to General Bami's book, My Relationship with Sabu, I first met Sabu at the NDA when I was an instructor and he was assistant adjutant to Major Aziza. Sabu was a captain and I was a major. We later met at the Command and Staff College. I was on the directing staff at the senior division while he was on the directing staff at the junior division. Our working relationship continued nicely while I was at Lagos Garrison Command, and Sabu was posted to 9 Brigade as commander. When the 1995 coup was foiled, Sabu was posted to the Intelligence Corps as DMI. We still had a very good relationship. I used to visit his house and he used to visit mine. We started having problems when it was Sabu's turn to proceed to the War College. Attendance was by seniority, but Sabu did not want to go to the War College for reasons known only to him. Somehow he was able to get the approval of General Abacha, who I believe was not briefed on the danger of allowing Sabu to stay back. Many junior officers supported Sabo and did much to ensure he stayed back. I insisted that Sabo had to proceed to the War College, now National Defense College. I was eventually invited by General Abacha to speak on the issue. I explained that allowing Sabo to avoid going to the Staff College meant there was no way we could stop any officer in future who was also not ready for any course. After I explained the danger to General Abacha, he agreed with me, but gave a condition that Sabo would return to DMI after his course. I had no problem with that because that had happened with Colonel Akilu. He went on to the National Institute for Strategic Studies and returned as DMI. I gave Sabo the opportunity to select an officer of his choice to act for him while he was taking the course, and he selected Colonel Idehere. When he completed the course, he was posted back to DMI, but he never forgave me. As far as he was concerned, forcing him to attend that course was wrong. Unfortunately, he allowed himself to be destroyed by people who deceived him, some of whom were serving military officers. I am glad he confessed to me that he had been made to do everything he had done at the Oputa panel in Abuja. We even took a picture together after that.
He's being detained. Dr. Yakese is being detained in the prison because of an alleged confession. Now, in view of the fact that there is also a similar publication alleging a confession by you, now that this Dr. Yakese has been in prison, I want us to apply this local dialect, this local saying, that looking at the situation of Yakese, what will be your reaction?
Well, I will want to believe that somebody is trying to use the same publication to get me implicated. Well, I'm already in prison, so I think the man who's down does not fear falling again. So the person who wrote that maybe is wasting his time, but that is the aim. But I want to assure you that there is no way anybody can go to Nigerian prisons and grant an interview, because anytime you have a visitor, a warder must be seated by you to hear what you are saying and most likely report back to the superior officer. Yes. Now, the case of Yakese is so pathetic because I know he did not write it. There was no such confession. I'm in prison with him now.
10 minutes gone.
Yes, well, thank you.
So I think this Honorable Commission should also look into Yakese's case, because it is a case of violation of human rights, my lord. This man has been there for 3 years for a false publication, an allegation of money. That same money, when the CSO to General Abubakar came here, Major Aliyu, he confirmed to this Honorable Commission that he handed over that money to the present CSO, to Mr. President. Yakese is in prison because of that money. It is something that should be looked into. Thank you.
Now, General, sir, just hold it, just hold it. I'm just preparing you for the last shot that I would want to take. I just want to draw your attention to a publication here of Tel magazine of the 10th of September 2001, particularly at page 26, and it reads, the release of Obasanjo was to trigger off a number of anti-Abubakar reactions from a section of the army. The meeting, which was convened to discuss the release, lasted till about 4 a.m. the following day. Tel learned that there was sharp disagreements, especially from Bamaiyi and his cohorts at the meeting. At a stage, Abubakar was said to have literally overruled all dissenting voices and ordered the release of Obasanjo and other detainees in his capacity as the commander-in-chief. When the news of the release was broken, Bamaiyi was said to have been livid. He stormed out of the meeting only to reappear again. From that moment, Tel gathered, Bamaiyi would always tell whoever cared to listen that Abubakar gave Obasanjo pardon without their consent. Days later, Abubakar announced to the world that his tenure would be short-lived, and the elections would be held in less than 9 months. Bamaiyi again was crestfallen. He was said to have made several moves at a point. At a point, Tel learned he reportedly accosted one of Abubakar's aides early one morning and told him, your Oga said he wants to hand over, but Isaba, he no fit. If he doesn't want this thing, let him give us. Please, what is your reaction to this piece of publication?
Well, in the first place, that is a very big lie. I've made it very clear here that if I wanted power, I would have had it.
Yes.
And I still stand by it.
Thank you very much.
There was no time anybody discussed the release of General Obasanjo outside the PRC. And I believe General Obaka would not have said that. If he says so, then it's unfortunate and he's lying. But I know he wouldn't have said so.
Thank you very much. At the time you handed over as the Chief of Army Staff, you handed over 2,086,724 naira 960.94 kobo plus another sum of 965,700 US dollars.
Yes, I did.
My Lord, for the records, we want this tendered in evidence.
And maybe I should just explain the 900, over 900.
You talked about TEL. Is that in evidence already?
Oh, I'm sorry, my Lord. I also tendered.
I've marked it Exhibit 61 for you, although you have not tendered it.
I'm grateful for my Lord's generosity.
Yes,
sir.
which is the other one then?
My Lord,
TEL magazine, Exhibit 61. Yes.
Let me explain the source of the 900, almost 1 million.
Let's mark them first. What the exhibit? No, the other ones. He gave you two or three documents.
62, 63. Right. Together. Separately.
One by one. Main account Exhibit 62. This cannot be read. It's blank.
Well, in the process, we didn't want to bring the entire handing over note. It would have been disclosing the entire strength of the army. So we only endeavored.
No.
I'm sorry, my Lord. Me, I can read it, sir.
Where's the figure?
Take. My Lord, I'm still very much below 40. Thank you, my Lord. At the top, sir.
What do you call it? Restricted.
My Lord could write training and med evac or something. That is.
Training vote is Exhibit 63.
Thank you, my Lord. You.
62 and 63 will tell us the figures. One more minute.
My Lord, you took 1 minute marking the exhibit.
My Lord, I will not say anything on Exhibit 62 because it speaks for itself. But I need to explain Exhibit 63 because Brigadier General Sabu told this commission that we collected $2 million US dollars for medical evacuation and that money was not used. That is false. This now almost $1 million is the last money we received for medical evacuation. Of course, I was about leaving and I decided to hand over that money to General SVL Malu. These things can be confirmed from Army Headquarters or any other officer in the Office of the Chief of Army Staff.
Thank you, sir. For the last 30 seconds that we have, I want you to use a scripture to sound out a warning. I gave you Galatians chapter 6 verse 17.
Well, have you taken permission from the Reverend gentleman?
I've been conferred with the title of the Reverend. By Reverend Father.
From henceforth, let no man trouble me, for I bear in my body the marks of the Lord Jesus.
Thank you very much. That will be all for him, sir.
Cross-examine. Any cross-examination?
This is Mr. Kupolati, a senior advocate of Nigeria and counsel to General Oladipo Dia. Things get pretty intense with the cross-examination between himself and General Bamaiyi.
Please answer my questions, please. Now, you...
My Lord, sir, sorry, my Lord, Mr. Kupolati, just one. My Lord, sir, I don't know if cross-examination by Mr. Kupolati would not be giving him another bite at the cherry. It will not. Thank you, man.
Much obliged, sir. You confirmed that you were interrogated at the SIP.
Yes.
All agree. How many minutes to each cross-examiner?
Then my Lord,
said 5.
My Lord can give me 15
10,
minutes.
15?
15.
15 minutes.
15, 20 minutes.
Well, yours is 15. Yours will be about 2 hours. 2 hours. All right. But we'll have to finish today. If we sit till 7, we sit. This case is finishing today.
My Lord, may I ask for 20 minutes, sir? With due respect. Now, you said that Colonel Omenka was not one of your interrogators at the SIP.
He wasn't. He was an interrogator. What I said that he did not ask me any question.
But he was present.
He was there, yes.
All right. You are not aware that an intelligence report was prepared by the SIP and forwarded to the CNC, which implicated you in the coup event of 1997.
We have heard all that here. That was the job of the security services. As I said, General Bacha received so many intelligence reports, and everybody here knows what his reply was.
Now, it took about 3 weeks after you had received the information about the coup event of 1997 before you passed same to the CNC.
That is false. I clearly stated.
How long did it take you?
I will tell you. General Aziza reported to me on the 24th of September. I flew to Abuja on the 25th. I could not see General Bacha. I saw him on the 26th. 3 days. Maybe multiply by 7 to give you 3 weeks.
Now, did you meet the CNC at all over the intelligence reports you mentioned?
General Bacha is not the type of person that used to react on false reports. But I got to know about the report.
You met him? Did you meet him?
He called me and showed me, yes.
What was his reaction?
His reaction that people were telling lies, and I think it was given here.
Are you sure of what you are saying, General?
I'm too old to tell lies in this case.
Now, is it also true that you tried to bribe the members of the SIP that interrogated you?
That is General Sabo's idea. I did not, and it is here in my reply. Read it.
Now, you remember the coup speech. We have it on evidence now that the alleged coup speech that was given to General Oladipo Dia was delivered to him by one Major. You are not sure?
No, I don't know how he got it. All I know.
Do you know Major Akali?
No, Major Akali, no.
You have never heard of that name?
No.
Now, you have also been described in the course of the hearing of our petition that you are the fountainhead of the coup of 1997.
Well,
you agree?
That has been disapproved. You know who the man is. That's General Dia. You know it very well.
But it has been said in the course of the testimony before this commission that the coup should rather be retitled Dear Bamaiyi coup. What's your response to that?
Well, you should first of all find out who said that and for what reasons. It was a clear Dear coup.
Pardon?
It was a clear Dear coup.
Now, you first learned of the 1997 coup through General Aziza.
Correct.
Now, it took General Aziza 10 days before he passed the information to you. Is that right?
He had no alternative because I was on tour of army formations. And he could not have reported to anybody else but me. I was the chief of army staff and nobody else.
Now,
there's no time limit for reporting coups. You have to be responsible. If the General Aziza had reported to anybody else, he would have got himself in trouble.
Now, you know that as a matter of military tradition, coup or coup plot or any information respecting coup is a very, very delicate and serious matter. And every officer is required to report to the next immediate senior officer. Is that true?
Not always. The next senior officer to Aziza was me. He was Lagos Garrison Commander. I was his chief of army staff. So I was the next senior officer to him and nobody else.
Okay, I put it to you, General, that within the period of 10 days, other senior officers were available, like the chief of defense staff, the chief of naval staff, the chief of air staff, were all available, including the Inspector General of Police, to whom the information could have been given during that period. Is that not true?
No. Aziza was answerable to me and nobody else. Even the CDI was also part of the so-called security operations I'm talking about. General Aziza could not appoint to anybody.
Let me put it to you. If coup had occurred within the period of 10 days, while General Aziza was waiting for you, what would have been his defense? Or what would have been your reaction as a senior military officer?
It could not have happened because I know General Aziza very well. I must have put everything in place.
If it had happened,
there is no, it couldn't have.
Now, do you remember the 1976 coup?
I heard about it.
You heard? Were you not in the army at that time?
I was commanding a battalion somewhere where there was no coup.
You know one Major Ogmekan?
I don't know him.
Now, I put it to you that Major Ogmekan was one of the people arrested in connection with that coup. And the only reason why he was arrested, charged and convicted and executed was that he had the coup for 15 hours. And for that reason, he was executed.
Well, that's information to me.
That is information to you?
Yes.
But is it right? Is it a right information that if you conceal coup for 15 hours, you could be executed?
If you conceal, General Aziza did not conceal.
He didn't conceal. He only waited for
He
to
did
pass
not
it to you.
conceal. He must report his immediate boss.
Okay. You also remember the Oka coup of 1990?
Yes.
You remember Major Captain Nonju?
Well, there are so many junior officers I didn't know their names.
Okay. Now, I also remind you, and I put it to you, that Captain Nonju was charged and convicted and executed because he kept the information for only 2 days. And he did not pass it to the next immediate officer. You see, that was the only reason why.
No, you are just telling me that. I'm not aware of it. So I don't believe what you are saying. Because I was right there, I was involved in calling that 1990 coup.
As a very senior officer in the army, I think you should be more familiar with the history of all these coups because they are very essential to the well-being of the military government.
If you want me to educate you on the 1990 coup, I can do so.
I don't need you to educate me.
So what you are saying is wrong.
Now, General,
4 more minutes.
My Lord, now, let me also put it to you that there must have been an important contract between you and Aziza, and that was why you were very particular about Aziza passing the information to you exclusively about the issue of the coup. Well,
unfortunately for you, I was not even in Lagos. You are contradicting yourself. You are contradicting yourself. I was out of Lagos when General Dia spoke to General Aziza. I couldn't have therefore entered into any contract with him before returning to Lagos.
You were not in Lagos. Did you get my question? What I'm asking you is that, specifically, why would General Aziza have to wait for you ad infinitum?
Because I was
on a serious matter.
I was his chief of army staff. Were you expecting to go and report General Dia or who?
You were chief of general staff, and he had to report to you exclusively, not to any other senior officer.
General Aziza was my commander, Lagos Garrison. He was answerable to me before anybody else.
Okay.
So you cannot put wrong things to me.
All right. General, you remember one warrant officer Coker?
Yes, I do.
You said that warrant officer Coker and some other officers were sent to kill you.
Yes, I say so.
In respect or in furtherance of the execution of the so-called coup?
That was the plan General Dia had to eliminate. He thought he had already succeeded. So General Magashi, myself, and Aziza were to be executed.
Okay, let me...
And he was arrested there with a cocked rifle in my residence.
Were Coker and others arrested before the SMT and tried?
They went to SMT. They were there for the SIP. I don't know what happened.
Were they charged?
They were taken to SIP.
But they were not charged?
I don't know. Maybe they were not.
You don't know about the history of the SMT itself?
I was never a member.
Now, when General Dia said before the SMT, where is Bamaiyi? He is a planner, the mastermind, the executioner of the coup. What is your reaction to that?
What do you expect to such cowardly behavior? A senior officer should take responsibility. I said it was a cowardly behavior. I should have accepted responsibility as a general, just as Adisa did.
So you didn't take part in the coup at any level at all? Is that what you are saying?
I don't understand your question.
You did not take part in the execution of the coup?
I did not. I reported the coup to the commander-in-chief, and he gave his instructions.
Now, you also said in the course of evidence, or in the evidence before this commission, that General Aziza was targeted to be eliminated.
Yes, after the coup, yes, I say so, yes.
Now, how did you come about your information if you were not in concert with Aziza?
Listen, Aziza is lucky that he speaks Yoruba. If I were the one, I would have been dead. Because when the instructions were being given, they were given in Yoruba, and he was just walking down and he had it. And that is when it affected the arrest of General Waju. If it were Bamaiyi, I would have gone.
Now, you took efforts to recruit some troops, because you also agree that General Dia, at the material point in time, in 1997, did not control troops. You recruited...
I don't understand that question.
In 1997...
That I recruited troops?
Yes, you recruited troops.
I did not.
Who recruited Major General Magashi, Garba, and Riba?
Yes, General Magashi were all recommended. All these people were recommended by General Dia.
And you recruited them?
I did not. I was away. I did not recruit anybody. That is why I insisted.
Who recruited them?
I requested this commission that we should not complete this commission without hearing from Lieutenant Colonel Garba, the commanding officer of the 3rd Battalion. And I still request that he should be brought here. Okay. He will tell you who recruited him.
Okay, thank you, General. Now, you intentionally excluded Major General Mukhtar, that's GOC-1, Kaduna, in the course of recruiting officers and GOCs for your enterprise.
That is a lie, not recruitment. What was said is that I briefed GOCs, I did not brief Mukhtar. That is a lie. All the GOCs were briefed on Friday before I left Enugu, and I directed all of them to leave for their stations. I had all my GOCs and I briefed all of them, and the DMI could not have been there. Because, let me explain.
All of them agreed
it is
to
not
join hands
to execute the coup. They agreed to quell it, to stop it, if it happened. That was my directive.
Okay, General.
Fortunately, did not go far.
Okay, thank you. Now, will you agree that General Dia was tortured, harassed, humiliated, and assaulted?
I wouldn't believe it because
you will not believe it.
Major Mormuni, who was in charge of Dia in Jos, came here and said he was not tortured. I wasn't there, so I'll believe what the major said because he was in charge.
Now, you, in the course of your the reading of your treatise on Thursday.
Your time is up. I'll give you another 2 minutes.
Much obliged, sir. I'm grateful, sir. In the course of reading your treatise last week, you stated that you are apologizing to the Nigerian people for the misdeeds of General Sabo.
Wrong. Let me tell you what I said.
Okay, what did you say, please?
I was apologizing on behalf
of the armed forces,
officers of the Nigerian Army for Sabo's disgraceful conduct.
Okay, thank you. Now, do you think that you are qualified in view of cases of murder, conspiracy to murder, and other things pending against you in several courts? Just hold on, General. You think you are so qualified to give apology on behalf of perhaps a free man?
I am more than qualified.
How?
Because in the first place, whether you like it or not, the Nigerian Army is still my constituency. Secondly,
yes,
all the allegations are false, and I'm not ashamed to say so. They are all false, and you know how they all emanated. It has been cleared in this way. So I'm more than qualified to apologize for an officer's disgraceful conduct on behalf of Nigerian Army officers, so that people don't think all generals of Nigerian Army are like Sabo.
Okay, two more questions, please. Now, General, the state of the armed forces today, or sorry, at the time of your tenure as QAS, was a very substandard and unfortunate one, because it was infested by all sorts of intrigues, hatred, and all sorts of clashes at the highest level. Now, having regard to your role, experience, and involvement at the level you were involved during the time of your tenure, what will you recommend as a recipe to regain a standard and professionalized Nigerian Army?
Before making any recommendation, let me correct a wrong impression you have. The Nigerian Army under my tenure was disciplined, hardworking, involved.
General, from your own view.
Let me finish. That is your view. We were involved in training, but we had a few very bad officers who knew how to get to the top and cause confusion. Those are the problems of
General,
the Army.
I don't
so
want you
wrong.
to, I have time on me. I don't want you to give us a memo on what you did. We are concerned about the judgment of the people about your tenure. Now, do you have any regret for the role you played? It's like, just hold on. It's like in the history of this country, you are the first chief of army staff who will leave office and then go to prison and stand with charges of murder, conspiracy to murder, and all sorts of heinous crimes.
Yes, we arranged things.
Just hold on, General. So, do you regret your role or circumstances that brought you to this level? Because it's not a noble thing.
I have no regrets. I did my job as a chief of army staff. I turned the Nigerian Army around. Some people are disgruntled. They wrote all sorts of things, and they wrote me, but there is no problem at all. I feel very proud of what I've done in the Nigerian Army.
Okay. Now, what are your recommendations for a professionalized Nigerian Army?
Well, I think I made my recommendations the last time I spoke, because I will advise the military leadership now to look at the likes of Sabo and don't allow them to grow. Because once the once you allow the army to be infested.
Thank you, General. Thank you, General. You don't have to focus on one single individual.
It's a group.
Look at.
I've told you what you need is for the present military leadership to start grooming officers up and watching.
And without people like Sabo.
Those with such tendencies should not be allowed to grow.
My Lord, I'm grateful, sir.
Thank you.
Let me pass.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
This is Umar Shetien, counsel to General Sabo, a very intelligent lawyer, and things get even more intense during the cross-examination.
I'll refer you to your Exhibit 27. Exhibit 27, that is your, is it 24? Dated the 4th of December, the year 2000. The statement of petition, that's your response to General Diaz's petition. Please, can you get exhibit, is it 24? 24, please. I think it's 27 marked on mine. 24, they said. Yes. I would like you to refer to page 4, paragraph 3, headed meetings. I want you to please read it. You are an officer and you are a gentleman. An officer and a gentleman.
You can't stop that. You can't deny that yourself.
We'll see very soon.
We will have seen.
I have a copy here if you have
Can we make some progress?
Yes, sir.
Because
yeah. Page 4, paragraph 3, please. Just the lines that are marked.
Meetings. As earlier indicated, my first contact with General Diodia on the coup on 26 September 1997 in his office. I went to inform him that Major General Pierre Naziza has spoken to me based on the discussion they had while he was in Lagos.
Please, can you go back to page 3 and read the marked parts of paragraph 1?
Paragraph 1 or 2?
I think the marked parts of paragraph 1, I think. The first paragraph.
I think it's 2.
Okay, go ahead.
It was during one of such visits in 1997, as reported by General Ziza, that General Dia invited General Ziza to drive in the same car with him. And General Dia started discussing the coup and instructed General Ziza to speak to me about it. At this time, I was on tour of 2nd Mechanized Division of the Nigerian Army, which ended at the Artillery Brigade, Abeokuta, September 1997.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, General, on page 4, the first time you met General Dia was on the 26th of September in relation to this matter.
That is when I saw him, yes, after reporting to General Abacha, yes.
Now, but on about some days before then.
The same September?
Yeah, September. Some days before then, in September, you yourself are saying that General Dia had asked General Aziza to see you in connection with a coup which he had never discussed with you. Is that possible?
It is possible because he knew Aziza could do nothing without my approval.
You know how serious the coup issue is. It's a matter of life and it's a matter of death. Am I right?
If it is serious, I don't agree. I don't have to accept what you think.
Excuse me. The coup d'etat is a matter of life and death.
Yes, it is.
General Dia is a very senior retired military officer. Am I right?
Yes, you are.
Would it make sense to you or anybody for a general like you, lieutenant general like you, to send another senior officer and a GOC for that matter to discuss with his boss on the issue of a coup if he had never discussed it with you?
Of course, because these are the troops in Lagos.
I put it to you that General Dia and you had discussed this matter. All that General Dia was doing was sending Aziza back to you for confirmation.
We never did that.
Well, thank you very much. Let me have my exhibit. Let me have my exhibit. Now, I am particularly worried by your response to General Sabo's evidence, only to the extent that it affects the future and the careers of other officers. And these are the only areas I will take you on.
Thank you.
Now, General Onoja became a very salient point in your response. And that is on in paragraph 12 of your response.
Yes.
Now, in your response, you told the commission that General Onoja was not retired ordinarily, compulsorily as other officers, but was retired because of financial impropriety on his part.
Correct.
You also told the commission that in fact he was arraigned and tried on his own admission of those facts. Am I right?
I did not say was arraigned and tried, no.
What happened to him? Was he ever tried of this offense?
He went to the SIP.
Was he tried for the offense?
Will you allow me to?
You will answer my questions, General.
Yes, I will.
Please. Was General Onoja tried for the offense of financial misappropriation?
He was not tried for that offense.
Was he found guilty of that offense?
Well, I think that's
Answer
a point.
the question.
You cannot find somebody guilty without trial.
Answer the question.
I've answered. Can you find somebody guilty without trial?
He wasn't found guilty.
But in the military, you don't have to try somebody to get him out of service.
Now, is it possible, if a person commits an offense in the military, how do you find the person guilty, or how do you punish him?
Well, let me just make this point clear. You investigate.
That's right. You investigate through either an SIP or a board of inquiry. I know.
You asked me a question, so allow me to answer.
No. I will put the questions to you.
Then answer yourself.
There are two methods. You investigate either through a board of inquiry or through an SIP. Am I right?
That was done for Onoja. SIP.
Now, was he investigated for financial misappropriation?
That was what happened. I've asked for this tape. Get the tape and you'll see. That is what the investigation went all about. General Dia himself can tell you that.
Was there any recommendation made to the tribunal?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, the recommendation is for him to be retired, and have presented that letter directing his retirement to this commission.
Directing his retirement?
Yes.
Please, may I see the exhibit concerned, the letter of retirement of General Onoja. He tendered it on the last day.
What is the relevance of this? If Onoja was retired or not retired?
My Lord,
vis-a-vis General Dia and General Sabo.
My Lord,
General
there is an obvious lie said here.
I see.
And I want
so if he lied on that one, he's lying all along.
No. We are getting there, my Lord. Don't you worry. Let's not be in a hurry. In any case, how much money was involved?
I don't know.
Do you know who gave him the money?
Yes, I know.
Who was that?
He collected money meant for state's administration, which is supposed to have paid into a GHQ account because it was a PSO to General Dia. He did not pay that money to GHQ account. He paid it into his own account.
How was the money paid to him?
I wouldn't know that.
Was it paid in cash or in check?
It has to be checked. You can't take such a large
Do
sum of
you
money.
know in whose name the check was written?
GHQ.
General Bamaiyi, I put it to you that the money was ordered to be paid to General Onoja by Idris Gidado, the Secretary to the government.
Against General Dia's instruction.
It was paid.
Onoja was not serving under Gidado. Idris was under General Dia.
The check was prepared in the office of the Secretary to the government. That's Gidado Idris.
Fine, I said I did not know those details.
And the check was written in the name of Major General Onoja.
Meant for what?
Listen to me. I'm putting it to you that it was written in his name.
Well, it was all a fraudulent sort of thing then.
And the amount involved was 21 million naira, meant for lodging, transport, and tickets of members of a committee on the sharing committee of newly created states.
Maybe that is another one. He might have done more than once then.
Well,
so you better check your records well.
Maybe you don't know, but I'm putting it to you. Later on, when this check matured, General Onoja returned the money to the PSO's account. I'm putting it to you.
You are putting it to me, but you see, all these things you are saying are wrong. They are never done in the military. You should be briefed better.
And I'm also putting it to you that you know Colonel Chefe. He is the one who was managing that account, not Colonel Onoja.
I wouldn't know who manages accounts in the General Dia's office. I wasn't working there.
Now, this matter came before the SIP, and I'm putting it to you, General Onoja was cleared as to return back to his work.
He was not. Go and get that SIP recording. Onoja was not cleared at all at any stage.
Your problem with General Onoja was that Onoja had at various times expressed the opinion that illiterate or uneducated
lawyers or
uneducated soldiers should not be allowed to lead the Nigerian army.
I thought you were saying uneducated lawyers. We don't have an uneducated officer.
We have, I'm talking about uneducated military officers.
We don't have them.
Officers who have not been very well educated
we don't have them.
And that was your problem with General Onoja.
I never had problems with Onoja. Onoja was indeed my classmate and my close friend. These are all the imaginations of your friends.
I'm only a counsel. I don't have any friends. You are my friend too. I gave you a greeting card. I sent it through Mr. Akaka.
And I accepted it.
Thank you very much.
Gratitude.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I have no quarrel with anybody. Now, General Onoja will come and testify to relieve his name anyway.
That will be fine. I hope I'll be around.
I would like to take you up on the case of Kemi Peters.
Well, I thought there was a letter of retirement.
No, but
you wanted it. Is there?
Kemi Peters.
Yes.
The case of Colonel Kemi Peters involved Brigadier Ajana, Brigadier Aliu, Brigadier Osiege, Colonel Ikweme, Colonel Brume, Lieutenant Colonel Nandap, the prosecutor, and Major SM Okeke, the judge advocate. Am I right?
I wouldn't know the details. That was Commander Army Headquarters Camp.
Now,
I don't run court martials.
Now, who ordered the court martial?
Commander Army Headquarters Camp, under who Colonel Peters was returned when he returned from his awol.
Now, General Bamaiyi, you are the one who recommended the retirement of these officers to the Army Council.
I took the case to Army Council.
You recommended it to Army Council, please.
I took the case to Army Council. We only recommend promotions. If I recommended
and it is on the basis of your taking it to Army Council that they were retired?
Yes, agreed.
Thank you. Now, why were the 7 officers, the 3 brigadiers, the 2 colonels, the 1 lieutenant colonel, and the major. Why did you take them for retirement?
Because they lacked integrity and loyalty, which is the bedrock of the army. Would you want me to explain?
No. Actually, you said in your document that they were alleged to have taken bribes.
It's beyond allegation.
Now, if a person was accused of taking bribes, shouldn't you have asked for them to be investigated and tried?
In the army, we try as much as possible.
Were they tried?
To assist our colleagues. We don't just start jailing people like that. You don't send people who have spent so many years to go out with nothing. If they were court-martialed, they could have been convicted and jailed. That means dismissal.
Did you query them? Were they given any queries to answer?
You don't have to start wasting your time querying people who got themselves, who showed lack of integrity. What query? They knew an officer was absent for 10 months. And they still say he did not commit an offense. Whereas just previously we sent an officer who was absent for 2 days.
What was then the basis of your judgment for sending them for retirement before the Army Council?
Lack of integrity and loyalty to the Army.
How did you find the facts?
Well,
what was your source of information?
Kemi Peters ran away from December 1997.
What was your source of information? You couldn't have...
Are you counsel to these 7 officers?
My lord...
What is the relevance?
My lord, the relevance is this.
What is the relevance?
The witness is not telling the truth. I'm coming to the point, my lord.
What sort of truth? Somebody has gone on a wall for 10 months. You want him to come back in the army?
If witness is not telling the truth, that's what we call probing, insinuation, confrontation. You're not doing that.
I'm doing it, my lord.
You are not doing it.
I'm going there, sir.
Cannot deny.
Now, General Bamaiyi, please take a look at this document. And look at the back, the last page. Is that your signature, your initial?
Of course it is. It is mine.
My lord, I seek to tender it.
You want to tender it?
Tender it, sir.
All right. Let's see.
Well, this is just a confirmation of court-martial. Take it. The signature is not my signature on this signature block. It's just a signature that I've noted it. I've seen it. That's all. So let's get it right first.
Don't be worried. Don't be worried. You're going to read it.
I will.
Yes.
Mark it 64, give him to read.
Thank you, sir.
Let the council give him the portion to read, or the whole of them.
The whole of sir. It's very, very important, sir. See the type of Chief of Army Staff we had.
Yes, from Chief of Army Administration to Chief of Army Staff. Confirmation of military court-martial sentence. Colonel A.O. Peters. The Chief of Army Staff is already well informed of this officer's case up to this present stage as contained in reference B. The accused officer, Colonel A.O. Peters, was tried by a general court-martial convened by Army Headquarters Camp. He was charged on 2 accounts. 1, absence without leave, punishable under Section 59 of the Armed Forces Decree number 105 of 1993 as amended. In that he, at National War College, on about 20th December to 24th September, December 97 to September 98, absented himself from the college for a total of 9 months, 4 days. B, conduct to the prejudice of service discipline, contrary to Section 103, subsection 1 of the Armed Forces Decree 1993 as amended, in that he, at National War College, traveled to Ghana without clearance, knowing same to be an offense. Though the officer pleaded not guilty to the charge The facts of the case are that the officer was given a pass by National War College and left Abuja on 15 December 97 and arrived Lagos on 21st December 97. On December 21st, the officer was in his house when he saw on the TV screen an announcement that there was a coup plot, and he was mentioned as one of the principal actors arrested. The officer, on seeing his name on the TV screen, gathered few things and absconded to Ghana without a security clearance from DMI, nor a traveling pass. The officer stayed away in Ghana until 14th of August, 1998, when he reported back to the National Security Advisor in Abuja. The General Court Martial findings and award on both charges were not guilty on count one, while count two, the court struck out the charge and therefore discharged and acquitted the accused officer on the two charges. The court seems to have dealt on a affair as a supervisory circumstances that robbed the accused the exercise of his free will. I want to take that again. The court seemed to have dwelt on fear as a supervisory circumstances that robbed the accused the exercise of his free will. This is a wrong interpretation of what a supervening circumstance is. The issue of supervening circumstance can only be a defense when the circumstances are such that the person involved is physically prevented from exercising his free will. However, in this instance case, the accused was able to exercise his free will when he elected to abscond to Ghana as survival strategy. The fact that he took a decision to abscond to Ghana as a survival strategy shows that he was still exercising his free will and making decisions. Therefore, the defense of fear being a supervisory circumstances that robbed him of the exercise of his will cannot avail him. The decision of the court was reached by inquirum in error of the proper interpretation of what a supervening circumstance capable of robbing a person of the exercise of his free will is. In view of paragraph 5 above, there are 3 remedies available to the Nigerian Army in this instant case. A, appeal to the Court of Appeal against the decision of the General Court Martial. The advantage of this opinion is that the appeal court, based on facts of the case, will definitely quash the decision of the General Court Martial and order a retrial. The disadvantages of these options are that, knowing the hostility of the civil courts to most military things military, the court may uphold the judgment of the General Court Martial, ridicule the Nigerian Army, and in this option also entails some expenses and time. B, uphold the GSM decision. The advantage of this option is that the Nigerian Army will be seen to be unbiased in this case. The disadvantage, however, is that with the evidence overwhelming against the accused, upholding it will be setting a bad precedent. C, to use administrative action at the discretion of the Army Council to invoke Chapter 318, Section 1, Law of the Federation of 1983, to dismiss the accused officer for acts of cowardice and traveling out of the country without valid pass or authority. The advantage of this option is that there will be an end. There will be an end to litigation. Paragraph 7. That these 2 offenses of cowardly behavior and leaving the country without pass, which amount to disobedience to standing orders, were ignored, portrays how this case has been mismanaged by those charged to prosecute. Moreover, the court erred in law to reach the verdict it arrived at. Indeed, there was a clear case of lack of grasp of military law on the part of prosecution and the court. Indeed, their pronouncement and conduct was scandalous. 8. It is recommended that Chapter 31A, Section 1 of the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1983 be applied to dismiss Colonel A.O. Peters from service. B. The following court members, prosecutor, judge, advocate, be eased out compulsorily from the service. They are listed there. The Chief of Army Staff may wish to direct further pleas to enable
half an hour gone.
To enable us raise a council memo on this case. Signed, Major General M. Odaro, Chief of Administration.
Now, General Bamaiyi, was this officer, General Daro, was he a court of appeal?
He was the Chief of Administration in charge of discipline. And it was his responsibility to recommend and, when directed, prepare Army Council memos.
Was he the court of appeal?
He wasn't a court of appeal. I don't think we have one in the Army.
All decisions under the Army Act, all decisions of the General Court Martial, the appeal lies to the Court of Appeal.
Well, that is a civil understanding of it. It is not so in the Army. You've read the recommendations, and I acted on the requirement. In fact, the officer is lucky that we did not invoke Section 381 for him to have been dismissed.
Now, what about the 7 officers? Were they ever court-martialed?
They were not court-martialed. They were sent out for lack of integrity. And that is allowed in the Army. Don't forget, let me just remind you, all the administrators, all officers who held political appointments were retired. Were they tried by this present administration?
No, they were.
Fine, so it is the same military.
General, you are making serious allegations of financial receiving gratification against these officers, and that's in your document.
That is not
exhibit.
True.
That's what you said.
No,
that's why they were retired.
Read it again. I did not accuse anybody of financial misappropriation. No, read it again.
You accused them of scandalous behavior.
That is the recommendation here.
That's right, and you took the matter to the council.
Did I make the recommendation?
And had them retired without any
their conduct was scandalous.
Without any court martial, without any investigation.
Their conduct was scandalous. Lack of integrity and loyalty. It's worse than a coup sometimes.
There was no investigation into this matter. The allegations against them.
Well, that can only be confirmed by
there was no investigation, General.
That can only be confirmed by Commander Army Headquarters Camp, not me.
General, was there any investigation? If you don't know, please say, I do not know.
I don't know because it's not my responsibility to investigate.
You do not know.
The officer to investigate is there. He must have.
You don't know.
No, he must have. He wouldn't have brought it without investigation.
Now, in paragraph 24 of your response to General Sabo's allegations, you state...
Just a minute, let me...
Yes. You told the commission that you...
Yes.
That you had no problem with Brigadier General Marwa at all.
I said so.
And do you maintain that you had nothing against General Marwa?
I've never had one. We never had problems.
I see. And yet, there was a bomb blast. You didn't commiserate with him?
I think you should read my document first. I did. I did not need to take permission from the DMI to talk to any officer. He was not my boss. I did. Read my listing again.
Please, can you take a look at this document, the source of November 29th, year 1999.
If I can just refer to paragraph 24A, if you can read that, you know that I...
Please read what I gave you. Read what I gave you.
Aso Rock.
Just take a look at it. And
I want to read them now.
No,
why Aso Rock?
Hold on, General. I seek to tender it, my lord. The source of the 29th, the source magazine of the 29th of November 1999.
I've seen it. There's nothing there more that Sabo has not said. It's just a confirmation of what I've written. At least we know those who are bombing people around. Bamaiyi is not one of them.
Market 65.
As your lordship pleases. Please, can you give it to him to read, please? The areas marked in yellow.
Well, before I read, let me repeat what I've said. We know how these papers come out. We know how people get papers written. So this is not an alternative for anything. We've been seeing that game for too long. So I will read. It is common knowledge in the Nigerian army that Ishaya Bamaiyi's appointment as chief of army staff badly diminished the status of that esteemed office once held by officers and gentlemen like Lieutenant General T.Y. Danjuma and the incumbent international peacekeeping hero, Major General S.V.L. Malu. Perhaps, known or unknown to Bamaiyi, he had lost the respect of the rank and file of the army. That's good news. Long before his retirement, particularly after the celebrated allegations from his elder brother, Major General Musa Bamaiyi. Fortunately, Sabo, I think, told us the exact thing here. Indeed, Ishaya was the butt of jokes of the officers' mess by officers who recognized in time that he had neither the intellectual capacity, sagacity, competence, nor the mental strength to cope with the demands of that office. No one was surprised, therefore, that Bamaiyi ended up sheer disaster as chief of army staff, managing in the process to make himself public enemy. I remember the statement of Colonel Ajayi in recent edition of TEL. Well, that's one man jailed for 1995 coup. I don't know how reliable he is. Colonel Ajayi, in a recent TEL magazine, those who witnessed the handing and taking over ceremony between Bamaiyi and General Malu remarked that they were shocked that no one clapped after Bamaiyi's farewell speech at the ceremony. In unison, everyone present appeared to have silently muttered, "Just go. Good riddance to bad rubbish." What a pitiful and inglorious exit. Recent newspaper reports in Nigeria have suggested that Bamaiyi may even now be undergoing a process of investigation over suspected acts of wickedness and brutality to fellow human beings while in office as the Chief of Army Staff. While I cannot confirm these reports, I can at least confirm that I am personally aware of several instances of the wickedness of Bamaiyi, and I had to continuously ponder, what sort of a crawling creature is this Ishaya Bamaiyi? How could a human being have so much capacity for bringing misery to others? Once, for example, a Major General in the Army of the Corps of Engineers, name withheld, was paralyzed in service. Ishaya Bamaiyi, without any human compassion, promptly sent armed soldiers and ejected the paralyzed Major General from his official residence. The paralyzed general was an officer in Alausa to solicit for assistance on his medical treatment overseas, as Bamaiyi had denied him the privilege. There was yet another major general of the infantry who hailed from Bender State, name again withheld. I'm glad they're withholding the names. Who, upon retirement from the army, was forcibly ejected from his official residence by Bamaiyi, despite all pleas and entreaties to allow the general only a few weeks to complete his personal house in Lagos and move in with his family. I was so embarrassed then as a colonel to listen to a two-star general whom I held in esteem plead with me passionately for assistance with even a two-bedroom apartment to temporarily accommodate his family for a few weeks only, as they had nowhere else to go. I promptly authorized the decent alternative accommodation for the general, who, true to his words, stayed 3 or less than 6 weeks before moving to his completed personal house. Now I have only spoken about the two generals. Need I speak too many, the colonels and below, who were ejected from their quarters and thrown out onto the street, and yet they speak of esprit de corps. It takes a full-grown beast to mistaken brutality for authority. I have no clue as to why Ishaya Bamaiyi has been so intent on destroying me, nor do I have the spare time.
How many more pages is he reading?
Well,
when I was in law school, we were taught that any document like that, which is admission against interest. Now, what this man writes about him is irrelevant to us. Have you called the writer?
Pardon?
We admit them for what they are worth, but they are worth nothing.
My lord,
unless it's admission against interest.
my lord,
go on reading for half an hour. Something that means nothing. As a lawyer, you know what I'm talking about.
I know, my lord, but how these witnesses say...
Is it admission against interest?
It is not admission against interest.
Is it made by him?
Pardon?
Is it made by him?
It's made by General Marwa.
By him?
He said he has nothing against Marwa.
Is it made by him?
No, it's not made by him.
To the best of my knowledge, I have nothing against Marwa. And I don't believe Marwa wrote this. Marwa will not write that.
Please read it.
If he did, it's unfortunate.
Are you calling Marwa?
Yes, I'm calling Marwa, sir.
All right.
Good.
Go on.
I have no clue as to why Ishaya Bamaiyi has been so intent on destroying me, nor do I have the spare time to analyze the right mind of a nitwit. No sooner did I resume duty in Lagos that it became apparent to everyone that I was a Daniel in a den of lions. Once I was a direct target of bomb attacks, fortunately we know who did it, which by the grace of God missed me by a whisker, though my escort car was hit and several soldiers badly injured. Until today, Bamaiyi has never commiserated with me, not even mention of the bomb incident by way of a word of concern or compassion. That is a lie. Not to mention solidarity, not a word. His loud silence over the incident left us all wondering as to whether he was happy or sad that they missed their target, or better still, whether he knew those who are after my life take note or put upon it. Well, I think we know that now. Paradoxically, the same Ishaya Bamaiyi actually has the ability to tell Newswatch in his totally unnecessary reference to me that he did not trust me and that he harbored suspicion by way of malice towards me, a subordinate, for no reason that he stated throughout his interview with Newswatch. Now anyone should be happy not to require the trust of a cobra. In my case, I am better for it. Now to the issues. Bamaiyi told Newswatch that at his arrival at the presidential villa in the morning of the fateful June 8, 1998, Presumably at about 9 or 10 a.m., he met me inside the villa, discussing with Sabo and some other officers about selecting a new head of state from among ourselves. False. Now, how can Ishaya Bamaiyi get his own chess pool? Sorry. Now, how can General Ishaya Bamaiyi get his own chess pool? The truth of the matter is that throughout the morning of June 8, I was in my office in Lagos, attending to normal government business and receiving scheduled courtesy visits from married groups, being totally unaware of the passing away of the Commander-in-Chief in Abuja. I remember quite clearly that among the official callers on me at precisely 10 a.m. that morning was a delegation from the People's Bank of Nigeria, led by its managing director, Mrs. Hamra Imam. The record of this visit would be found in the visitor's book at the governor's office at Lausa for verification. When I was hinted just about 11 a.m. by one of my aides that an untoward event had been rumored to have occurred in Abuja, I immediately placed a call to the presidential villa and was surprised that the person who answered my call in the residence of the head of state was the chief imam of the villa, who confirmed upon inquiry that indeed General Abacha had passed away. I alerted my officials and in time proceeded to the local airport Ikeja. On arrival at the presidential launch of the airport just before noon, I found the place brimming with PRC members, among whom were the Chief of Air Staff, the then AVM Edwok, Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Defense Intelligence, AVM Midi Musa, Rear Admiral Adedina, all waiting to board a special flight from the presidential fleet to Abuja. Bamaiyi was not in the airport.
Council, how much longer are we waiting for this epistle? How much longer?
My Lord,
as far as I can, it's completely irrelevant.
my Lord, this witness
But if you want to relax and let him go 1 hour,
these are all
reading
my Lord,
false.
this
completely
witness,
irrelevant.
my Lord, this witness took tendered documents.
Suppose we discredit
But
everything he
these
said.
are all false.
Hold it. Suppose we don't believe one
So
word of what he
rubbish.
said. Haven't we got enough evidence to make a finding on Diaz's petition?
You have, my Lord.
If we have, what
But
are you
a
wasting
lot, my
our
Lord, a
time?
lot has been said by this
Suppose we
witness.
discredit everything. He's not on trial.
My Lord, but
is he
he-
on trial?
He has dented
Here.
the image
Is
of...
he on trial here?
I'm not trying him.
Is he on trial here?
Neither are other people on trial. He has
Answer the
dented the
question,
images.
Mr. Lawyer. Is he on trial here?
He is not on
Answer
trial,
no.
my Lord. He is not.
Has he a petition before us?
He has
Answer is
not.
no.
He has none.
What are you wasting our time then?
My Lord, he has dented the images of other people here.
You started denting images.
So what?
Your client started.
But I'm only asking him questions. I'm entitled to it. My Lord, am I not entitled to ask him questions?
Relevant questions, not irrelevant.
If your Lordship
what man
rules
was
that-
said about him
If your Lordship
is not
rules...
evident before this
My Lord,
tribunal.
if your Lordship rules that it is not evidence and it is not relevant, it can be discountenanced. I have no objection to that.
Of course, I've told you that it's not relevant.
Very well, let
But
him
you
stop.
refuse to accept it.
My Lord, let
This
him...
is
if you-
admission against interest. You as a lawyer, I as a will know it is admissible. In no court will this be admitted. We admit it because a tribunal.
Yes, my Lord.
Yes.
And it is because it's tribunal
And
that
you
I'm
know
allowing
what's
him to
when I was
read it.
reading it. What are you reading it for? To show the man who has said he's a bad man. And so what? He is. I agree with him. He's a bad man.
Well, my Lord, thank you very much. I'll take your Lordship's hint. Now, General Bamaiyi, on the 12th of on the 12th of December last year, when Dia was testifying before this commission at Lagos, it was his evidence that you and General Aziza came to him and reported that General Marwa was planning a coup d'etat.
That is a lie.
No, excuse me. This is what he said.
I'm telling you it's a lie. He says he could have said so, but it's a lie.
Why would General Dia tell a lie against you?
Because he got himself frustrated for his failure to become the head of state.
So he would lie that you told a lie against Marwa?
Is Dia's lies a secret in this country anymore?
Well, this is your own opinion. Now, please, can you tell the commission, General Bamaiyi, you brought up the issue of the fact that you had allegations, you have brought before this commission evidence that you are being incarcerated wrongly on allegations that are untrue.
Yes.
Now, do you know one Major Bature?
I know a Captain Bature.
No, Major Bature.
Well, I don't know him.
Who was your officer?
I said Captain Bature, not Major
Captain,
Bature.
Okay, I'm sorry, Captain Bature.
Yes.
Do you know one, is it Captain or Major Najaja?
Captain Najaja.
Now, Captain Najaja and Major Bature gave evidence in before an investigation panel about the burning of the house of Lieutenant General Akinri Nede. And in their evidence before that investigation panel, they alleged that it is you who ordered them to do it.
That is not right. I read all their evidences. Nobody connected me with Akinri Nede. And in fact, the man that sent Najaja is right there behind you. And he says so in an open court.
They also gave evidence that it is you who asked them, along with Rogers, to go and look for one Mr. Porbeni.
That's the man who sent them is behind you, and that was clear in open court in Lagos.
Please answer my question. And this report was on the basis of information given by one of your agents called Billy.
No, that was information manipulated by Sabo, who was also invited there. Najaja had two statements, but I will leave that because it's in court. When we go back, we shall find out.
But this matter was reported in the newspapers. You never denied them.
Newspapers, I have told you, I've said it more than once. I don't believe in newspaper publications. People pay the newspapers write anything they want. That is the problem of this country. And the earlier we look at it seriously, the better for everybody.
Well, Lord, I seek to tender the News Watch magazine of the 13th of December, 1999. Yeah, you can take it.
Exhibit 66.
As your Lord's pleases. The same officers also alleged that you are the one who asked them to burn down Rotam House.
All these things you are saying are false. This case is in court, and every evidence has been taken. There is nowhere Bamaiyi was mentioned in Rotam House or anything besides Alex Ibru, which is as a result of Gona, which we now know.
And they also alleged that it is you, Rogers, that's Sergeant Rogers, also alleged that it is implicated you in the case of Alex Ibru.
Rogers did not say so. You are a lawyer. Go and see the two statements made by Joe Rogers. You will find out there is no mention of anybody. Rogers denied everything. It's in court, and you are the one making me talk about it.
Rogers testified before this
Rogers,
commission.
in his written evidence, had nothing against anybody.
So you were wrongly arraigned before the High Court in Lagos.
Well, we know why I'm there. You may not know, because you will not want to know.
Well, we don't know how you did it, but that's not our business. Now, please, can you read Exhibit 66? The areas marked alone. Yes, I'm coming there.
Okay. Umar Mohammed Bature captain and military attaché to the Nigerian Embassy in Washington, D.C., United States of America, also confirmed Bamaiyi's involvement in various crimes in his statement to the SIP on October 22nd. He admitted that sometime in January 1996, Bamaiyi instructed him and Maichibi to trail one Pobeni to Asaba and to eliminate him if seen. He claimed Bamaiyi briefed them that Pobeni was involved in illegal activities against the government. He further said that Bamaiyi introduced them to one Billy, his informant, who acted as a pointer to them at Asaba. He added that though Pobeni was located, they deliberately refused to carry out the assignment of eliminating him. But Ture said Bamaiyi was also...
Now, I'm sorry, my lord. I'm very, very sorry. I'm very, very uncomfortable because I'm involved in this matter in Lagos. As a lawyer, I do not want to be sitting here to hear this.
Talk to your learned friend now.
No, my lord.
About relevance.
No, my lord, I do not want to disturb the commission. I'm very, very uncomfortable. Very, very uncomfortable. And I urge that the commission protect me.
What do you want me to do?
I am involved in this matter.
I've talked to him that there's certain things called relevance. The petition before me is that of Dia. No other petition, and they are complaining about his involvement in the coup and his torture and his arrest. All these persons don't prove any of these facts.
My lord, the reason why, may I please explain this, my lord? In a 50-page document, this witness made allegations. I'm only cross-examining him on these issues, and I'm only putting one question at a time. My lord, I'm not refusing to take your hint, my lord.
A chapter here on cross-examination.
Yes, sir.
So when you talked about cross-examination, I revised it to see whether you are within the bounds. You are outside, far outside. But go on.
Very well, sir.
Your learned friend said it's uncomfortable because what we are asking is irrelevant.
My lord, the issue of irrelevance, when it comes to cross-examination, yes, sir, I know, sir. But a witness cannot be allowed to bring in 50 pages of rubbish and then he's allowed to just get away like that?
Reply to rubbish.
Now in Enugu during the military exercise in what day was it? During the military exercise in Enugu, when you informed all the GOCs,
Chief of Army Staff's Conference.
The Chief of Army Staff's Conference, it is in evidence that you informed all the GOCs about the plans of General Diaz's plans to assassinate General Abacha while at Enugu. Am I right?
To arrest.
To arrest him while at Enugu. Now, General Bam.
Listen.
Yes.
Let me answer that question.
Yes.
I did not brief the general officers commanding until the 13th of December, which was a Friday, when I directed all of them to go back to their stations. The 8th of December, I knew nothing was going to happen. Nobody was briefed.
That's right. Now, when did you brief on that day, Friday?
Exactly 1 hour gone.
Thank you, sir.
And as somebody said, and we have achieved nothing. He's not a lawyer. He's not a lawyer, and he's saying, and we have achieved nothing.
No, I mean, achieved nothing as far as this case is concerned, because I thought that if these people have been mentioned and they feel that they want to clear their names, let them come here and say so. If, on the other hand, you are holding their brief, then you say so, in which case, everything that you are saying here will be in order. But quite frankly, just listening to all this, as far as I'm concerned, it still doesn't bring us anywhere closer to what needs to be said that has not been said, unless we are clear now that your client, General Sabo, has nothing more to say. Because most of what you're saying, 90% of what you've said so far has been about other people as opposed to General Sabo.
My lord, this is the reason why I'm responding this way.
No, that's why I said, yes, if it is
If you've been able to watch up until this part, then I'd like to thank you for watching to the end. That's all I can take for today. To see more videos, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification button, drop us a comment, let us know what you think about the characters, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
But you're doing everything.
Thank you very much, sir.
Leads to that conclusion.
Thank you very much, sir. The only reason why I'm bringing it out is because they themselves became an issue in the case. It is not because I want to prolong the case.